I'm Rob Hoyton. Thanks very much for joining me on Dragon's Teeth today. Just a quick catch-up chat, some of the things I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, well, specifically over this last weekend, and one or two things that we've got coming up as well, particularly the Innsmouth Literary Festival 26th. We've got our t-shirt design now, courtesy of Graveheart Designs, and these are available on the Innsmouth Gold site for pre-order, and you can pick them up on the day. So, just this last weekend, yesterday in fact, we were over at Chester House, which is just the other side of Rushden. Never been there before, very interesting place. There was a Roman fort there, and it became the site of an abbey and a manor house and all that kind of thing. So a lot of historical stuff to see there, and I believe centred there is one of the big local archaeological societies. So there's a museum and a guide to local archaeology there as well. But we actually went because it was RomanFest 26, and we saw, as you'll see from the footage come up now, some excellent reenactment from the Ermine Street Guard, I believe they're called. So they put on a great display of formations. They went through all the equipment and armour and weapons that typical Roman soldiers or auxiliaries would be wearing at the time they were stationed there. And they had some really fun artillery pieces as well. A ballista, an onager and a catapult, which, yeah, that was a favourite with the crowd. The distance and the height they got on even these small versions, because obviously they're not full-scale catapults, was quite impressive. And once they'd done all their display, we were able to go up and have a chat with them. They had some tents there as well, showing how coins were made in Roman times, talking about the history of the Roman legions, lots of arts and crafts on display. So all round a very interesting day. Now, this is all very germane and timely for me, because I'm just working on the release of my latest novel, Queen of the Fens, which is a direct sequel to Robert E. Howard's Worms of the Earth, which you may be familiar with. If you're not, then just very briefly, Worms of the Earth is set in Roman Britain, and it covers the exploits of Bran Mac Morn, king of the Picts, as he exacts vengeance on a Roman governor for killing one of his men. How he does that? Well, I won't spoil the story for you, but my story, Queen of the Fens, which is the first in a trilogy of novellas, takes place shortly after the events in Worms of the Earth, and we have a chap called Decius Varenus, a hardened centurion, who is a newly joined member of the Frumentari, which is like a sort of, you can think of it as like a Roman military police, secret police, investigative type organisation, and he is sent over to Britain to investigate the disappearance of the governor, Titus Sulla. In doing so, one of the places he visits is, of course, how could I not, he goes across to the fens of East Anglia and starts working with, kind of, the Iceni tribe there, led by the titular Queen of the Fens, of course. So I've tried to keep it very Robert E. Howard with some Lovecraftian elements. The final proof is going off to the printers this week. We've got the cover art all done now. Again, Graveheart Designs, what would I do without them? So do keep an eye out for that. Hopefully it should be out within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that was yesterday, that was Sunday. On Saturday I was over at Cranfield, just outside of Bedford, for Continuum 26. This is a event, 4 days of RPGs and tabletop gaming. I was just able to get along on the Saturday. I had a little table there selling some things, and of course selling tickets for the ILF. But I also got to set up a We Want the Gold game, and I used the scenario Innsmouth Gold. So here's some photos of the table set up. Basically, this was a 6-sided event, this one. We had locals, we had deep ones, necromancers, adventurers, monster hunters and cultists, all mixed together in a very entertaining concoction. And again, the basis of We Want the Gold, it's very much a multiplayer skirmish game with elements of RPG. Each group of players or faction has their own aims and objectives, which may directly oppose others, or they may align in some way or other. So lots of potential for making and breaking alliances, skullduggery, double crossing, and all the rest of it. So yeah, it was great to get all that set up. And Continuum overall is a great event. There's every type of RPG and game going on there you can think of. Now, speaking of gaming, one of the things I was talking to with some people at Continuum, particularly Chaosium, is setting up our gaming room for the ILF. As you'll know if you've been, we have a dedicated room for gaming. This year we have Chaosium returning again. I'm delighted to say we've got Hobby Hive, our local Bedford store, are coming in. I think they're doing a participation game that's based around eldritch vegetables. So it sounds like good fun. We've got Arkham Horror, we've got a game of Arkham Horror going on, and of course I'll be running a We Want the Gold session. It's going to be the Escape from Innsmouth scenario, so my lovely Innsmouth bus is going to be making its debut. We're talking to a couple of other local clubs and other people as well, so there may be some other gaming aspects going on. Of course, aside from that, we've got all the usual talks, panels. We've got our guests of honour, author and editor Stephen Jones, and renowned fantasy artist Les Edwards appearing as well. And the fun doesn't stop when the sun goes down, because we have Innsmouth After Dark all organised now at the local club in Bedford. And that's an evening of horror, comedy, improvised poetry, songs, and a reading as well from Mount Williams this year, who did a reading at our very first ILF. So looking forward to that. Outside of that, with the recent heat, it's been impossible to get any painting done. In fact, I came in here the other day and I have some nice smelly candles in here because, you know, you want your shed to smell nice, don't you? And the wax was soft in all of the candles. That's how warm it is. So painting is a no-go. Just the temperature in here, it's like an oven. There's no windows, there's only one door. And yeah, the paints are just going to dry straight away. So I've not been able to do any painting. I've got a ton of figures have been undercoated and are ready to go. And I've not been able to do any more of the Innsmouth build at the moment, which is annoying because I'm waiting on, I've got this new method potentially of making roads and cobblestones, making some nice tiles. So I'm quite eager to get that done, but you know, that involves a heat gun. So that really is off the cards at the moment. The temperature is starting to come down a bit now, so maybe this week I can make a start on those. Gaming wise, I've not done a lot of tabletop recently. I'm finding it quite hard to get people interested in either Starfleet battles or fantastic battles, 10 mil, or even just some general sort of World War II stuff. So I've not been able to get much of that done. I really do want to get my 1300 stuff up and running again. That's going to be my autumn project, I think. Getting all my Russian and German tanks and infantry units painted up, getting a bit of terrain done, and probably blowing the dust off of those old Firefly rules that I bought. Well, it was about a year ago, actually. Blimey, that was at Hereward. It was a year ago. So they've been sitting in the drawer pretty much untouched for a year. So I do really want to get those out and start playing 1300 again. On the RPG side, it's been a lot busier. We've got the Rollmaster campaign going on Monday nights at Bedford Gladiators. You may remember we changed the setting for that, or Darren changed the setting, and we've kind of switched things around a little bit. That is now running very well. There's it's nice because it's set against the backdrop of the collapse of an empire, so it's kind of big in scope, but of course we're focused in on this small group who have a very specific mission to carry out, as everything is basically turning to crap around them. So yeah, some real good challenging stuff going on there, and I think we've got a new player coming in as well, so it's nice to see that group growing. The same with my Mothership campaign. We're now up to episode 8, I think, and I've been putting the episodes up on the YouTube channel here, so you can follow along. The audio is a little bit naff in the first one or two, because I've never done online gaming before or recorded it, but we've got the hang of that now, so the audio quality is much better for the latest episodes. And we have our Assault Team 5 undercover operative group on Prospero's Dream, the huge space station. We've done 8 episodes. They've only been there a week. it's quite interesting how that's working out. But in that week, they've already caused a lot of havoc amongst the cartels and drug gangs, and at the moment, possibly on the brink of blowing up a drugs factory. That's a challenge on a spaceship, isn't it? We're going to see how that pans out. And as you can see, Buster has joined me today. In case it's not hot enough in the shed, I've got a big hairy dog sat on me. But we've got a new shower being fitted at the moment, and Buster has taken offence to this strange man in our house. So he's been barking a lot. So he's here in the shed, and he's being nice and quiet for a change. Anyway, that's all the news for now. I'm going to be at Hereward, the Peterborough War Game Show, that's in about 4 weeks, I think. And I believe there's a show, a wargaming event in Leicester coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm going to try and get up to that. I won't have a table or anything, but I'll certainly be taking the camera up there and doing a report on that. And then, of course, as I've mentioned a few times already, September the 19th, Innsmouth Literary Festival. You can still get some tickets, but they are going fast, so don't hang about. It'll be great to see you there. You can get the official t-shirt, and of course you can sign up for that Escape from Innsmouth game. Okay, that's all for now. A big thanks to our new subscribers who have just signed up recently. This last month we've had a good influx of subscribers. So thanks very much. Your support is very much appreciated, and it does help the channel grow. As always, please do put any comments, links or suggestions below. How have you been coping with painting or doing stuff in the heat? I mean, wargaming's not exactly... it's not a very active hobby, is it? But even in this heat, it's just a bit too much to do anything. Be interested to hear. You got any good fan tips? Fans are hard to come by at the moment, it seems. All right, with that, it's a goodbye from me, and it's a goodbye from Buster.